What's up guys, it's Nosy Boy here, and I finally have another character concept for you all to enjoy. You've waited long enough, so let's just hop right into how my concept for Ahsoka Tano would work in Star Wars Battlefront 2. First and foremost, Ahsoka Tano is going to have the lowest health out of all the lightsaber characters. Her health pool will only be 600, but she can take 250 damage before losing permanent health. Her default appearance would be based on her look from the later seasons of the Clone Wars, since we want to take advantage of her two lightsabers for the moveset. My design philosophy for Ahsoka is a focus on speed, and you're not going to be seeing any force powers here. To be frank, saber throws and force pushes are extremely boring. Everybody has them, and there's nothing unique about adding one to her kit. This game is also downtrodden with crowd control already, and I don't feel like adding any more. Instead, we're going to double down on the agility and lightsaber combat aspect of her character. For example, she's going to have the fastest movement speed in the game, 10% faster than even Luke Skywalker. Her jump speed and fall speed are also faster than everyone else, which really lets her traverse around the map and stay evasive. As you might have guessed already, she's going to be joining Count Dooku in the 3 Dodges Club. So while she may be the squishiest lightsaber character, she's going to be a pain in the ass to lock down and kill. Her lightsabers also play into the whole speed and agility thing. She carries 2 of them, and one of them is a Shoto saber. This means that Ahsoka can swing faster and more often than the other lightsaber heroes. However, her swings also don't carry the impact that other lightsaber characters do. I decided they should do 80 damage per swing, but in the amount of time it takes other characters to swing once, Ahsoka has already swung twice. So despite only having 80 damage per swing, she's going to be doing 160 damage in the time it takes someone else to do 100 to 120 on average. 160 is a ton, so obviously if you're fast enough to react with a block for the second swing, you should be able to block it and only take 80. This adds a lot of interesting counterplay to Ahsoka's duels and rewards skilled players. If your reaction time is garbage, that just means you'll be eating insane amounts of damage from just her basic attacks alone. They drain very little stamina as well, since it's not as taxing to swing a Shoto saber or a saber with one hand. For her blocking, however, it'll perform pretty similarly to General Grievous's. Ahsoka isn't a big buff Chad, she's a teenage girl with one-arm strength behind her sabers. Her blocking is going to suffer because of this, draining her stamina quickly just like Grievous's. One big difference is that when a lightsaber character swings on Ahsoka, she'll be locked in block stun for longer than anyone else in the game. Block stun is that short period of time after you block a swing where you can't move. Ahsoka players shouldn't be sitting in block. It's not her playstyle, so her kit punishes defensive play. It's also a pretty canon way to reflect her dueling. She's not going to have the strength to defend against people like Grievous, Dooku, Maul, Vader, or Thick Boy Kylo while she's a teenage girl. Don't worry though, her abilities will keep her plenty mobile. In the Clone Wars, Ahsoka is a pretty big hothead, especially earlier on in the war. So her first ability, to reflect this, is a saber dash like Darth Maul's. Actually, it's pretty much Darth Maul's saber dash. I don't like the idea of reusing abilities generally, but if we can have 4 different force pushes, I think it's fine. And my whole argument against force pushes is that it doesn't enhance Ahsoka's moveset in any way, while this does. So I don't think it's hypocritical either. It's pretty mandatory to have this in the kit, where the whole focus is Ahsoka staying mobile while doing damage. The light side doesn't have an ability quite like this either, and don't you dare say Luke's. His is awkwardly animated and it isn't as fluid. Like, what the hell are you doing, Luke? Why do you need to do this spin like a fucking nerd? It's stupid. This is like the ugliest ability in the entire game to me. But anyways, Ahsoka's dash, like Maul's, can be cancelled after a saber swing, and it does 120 damage. That means Ahsoka can cancel an 80 damage swing into a dash, doing 200 damage and killing even heavies almost instantaneously. Or she can swing twice then dash, doing 280 damage against whatever hero or reinforcement she's facing. It's on a 10-second cooldown and she carries 2 dashes at a time, 3 with a star card. Oh, and before you comment, Yoda's dash doesn't count. He's not supposed to be an insane rushdown character like Maul. Yoda is really good at playing support and controlling objectives in corridors. The dash just helps him get around and confirm kills. So while yeah, Yoda has a dash kinda like Maul's, they play different roles. Togruta headtails have the ability to sense nearby movement, which gives Togruta a slight edge on the battlefield. This biological trait is going to be adapted into a wall hack ability. I know, we already have this ability, another rehashed ability in this concept. Rey already has this with her fucking insight, I get it. But Rey's doesn't double as a steroid. This ability lasts for 5 seconds, buffs Ahsoka's basic attack damage by 10%, and buffs her movement speed by 20%. It's designed to help Ahsoka outmaneuver enemies during duels, give her a slight boost to her burst damage in duels, and help move around the map even faster. Combined with the wall hack, this ability becomes the key to Ahsoka's kit. With the boost to her combat ability and speed, Ahsoka can plan a route with minimal resistance. She can simply use it to target a small group of enemies or get behind a larger group of enemies. It's not like she'll always have it either, with a steep 25-second cooldown. Although, she only has to wait 20 seconds since the ability lasts for 5. Using this ability properly is going to be paramount for good Ahsoka play. On the battlefield, things almost never go as planned, especially if you're Sky Guy or Ahsoka. So Ahsoka's final ability is based on one of the many instances where she escapes capture. The specific instance is where she escapes the capture of Death Watch, decapitating a group of soldiers in the process. While it won't cause heads to roll, this ability will have the same animation. Ahsoka will just spin in place really quickly. The ability will get Ahsoka out of any crowd control effect. Did Kylo freeze you? Plan B. Did Phasma or Iden stun you? Plan B. Is Vader choking you? Plan B. The animation is short, only lasting for a second, and there's no end lag. This means Ahsoka can use one of her mini dashes to escape immediately. It also does 100 damage, but the damage really isn't what you're using this ability for. Ahsoka is very fragile, and I know this. On top of this, she's as in your face as everybody else in the game with the lightsaber. Any kind of stun or knockdown would pretty much cause her to die instantly. So Plan B is going to help her get out of this and give her a way to dodge crowd control. Without it, I feel like she'd be extremely underwhelming. Especially since DICE loves giving out stuns and knockdowns like they're freaking candy. Remember when Finn came out, was good, and didn't have any sort of crowd control? Those were good times, man. Of course, this ability is very strong, basically like a get out of jail free card, so it's also on a lengthy 25-second cooldown. Padawan Endurance. Ahsoka has increased health regeneration. Quick Learner. Ahsoka uses less stamina when swinging a lightsaber or blocking. Togruta Battle Tactics. Whenever Ahsoka defeats an enemy trooper, she regains 20 health. Whenever she defeats an enemy hero, she gains even more. My defense is offense. Every Padawan rush makes Ahsoka Tano more resistant to damage for 3 seconds. Hot-Headed Pupil. Ahsoka can do 1 extra Padawan rush, but the recharge rate is slightly slower. Jedi Commander. Ahsoka's Togruta instincts last longer and also reveal enemy targets to nearby allies. Plan C. Ahsoka's Plan B now also slows opponents' hit. Plan D. Ahsoka's Plan B does extra damage on hit. Cooling Down. The recharge rate is faster for all of Ahsoka Tano's abilities. Before, I would just list whatever alternate costumes they could possibly add for a character. Now, I know every character launches with one alternate look and will gain an additional one in the next patch. Ahsoka's launch alternate would be her Season 1 outfit. As for the second that'll come in the next patch, it'll be a legendary Rebels look complete with white lightsabers. When it came to this concept, I really wanted to avoid force powers and crowd control. This game has enough of it, and Heroes vs. Villains is already a nightmare. Have you played on Kashyyyk? It's the worst experience in my life. Instead, I wanted to focus purely on Ahsoka's athletic ability and skill with a lightsaber. The result is a very fast and damaging hit-and-run style character. In Galactic Assault, she'd heavily focus on guerrilla warfare, using her wall hack and buff to find targets, catch up to them quickly, swing, and cancel that swing into her Padawan rush to stay moving. The kind of speed we would see in Ahsoka is currently unheard of in this game, so I think it'd be interesting to see how players take to that idea and run with it. In Heroes vs. Villains, she'd want to focus on melting enemy health bars without Ahsoka overextending and getting caught in a stun. Her only defense against crowd control is on a very high cooldown, so she's going to want to have to stay on the move. She would also serve as the annoying target, like Boba Fett. The light side still doesn't have anyone as slippery as Boba to serve as a counter, so she could serve as that counter but on the ground. If you guys have ideas for abilities she should have instead, let me know in the comments down below. I'm curious what you all have to say about my first concept in a while. Make sure to hit like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Check the description for links to my Twitter. Join my Discord to take part in a subscriber podcast, and I'll smell you guys later.